Well, hello Rockhounds, Lapidary lovers. Mike here, welcome back to my channel. And today we're gonna tumble some more rocks. And where did these rocks come from, you're asking? Well, wife and I own a ranch out in Wyoming. Nice place. We try to spend as much time out there as we can, but it's hard. Thing is, we have property in two other states, and well, she works full time, and I got a lot of stuff going on, so we don't spend as much time out there as we'd like. Um, It is the main house is rented out to a tenant. We go out there, we stay in the guest house. Um, and I do a lot of rock hounding in Wyoming. A lot of my videos, I have a lot of videos on rock hounding in Wyoming. I'll put a link to one in the upper right. But, we'll go for long walks on the property. And there are a few areas on the property that have a lot of rocks. So um, all these rocks came from one of our walks along the property. I'll give you a close-up look at them. In fact, I'll wet them down so you can see why in the world we selected these rocks. Because they don't look like too much as they are, but when they're wet, well, the colors kind of pop out, the patterns kind of pop out in them. There's some interesting rocks here. So we collected all these on just one walk in the evening, around sunset, till it was too dark to see what we were picking up. That's got some nice black dendritic stuff in it. And so I brought them home to Florida, and I thought, well, you know what? I should try tumbling these and just see how they're going to come out. Some of them are pretty well like river rounded already, and it has a very interesting crisscross pattern in it. We'll see if they tumble. Now, my experience in the past with tumbling just sort of random collections of rocks is that it doesn't always work that well. Like with my series on doing rocks from our driveway, which I can also put a link to in the upper right, or also my series on doing landscape rocks I bought from Home Depot. So yeah, those didn't work out too good because some of the rocks not only didn't tumble well, but they shed particles that kept the other rocks from shining up nicely. In fact, this rock right here, which we collected because it's got these nice black and white zebra stripes in it, I think I'm going to leave this one out because I think this is nice. And nice doesn't play nice with other rocks. So I think we'll leave it out, but we'll try tumbling the rest of them and see how it goes. Some of them may be softer than others. They may disappear during the rough stages of tumbling. Some of them may not polish up nicely. Some of them may break apart. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So I've got this 3-pound tumbler over here. I'm going to put these in it. Wait, don't, you don't get away. Yeah, some of these are nice. That's smaller than the rest. It may get pretty small during the rough stages of tumbling. So I think I'm going to have to add a little bit of media to this to fill it up. It wants to be about 2/3 full. So let me find some stuff to put in here. And it'll be stuff I can differentiate from these rocks here because it will be different. So let me go find it. So what I've got here is a bunch of little chips of petrified wood. And these are chips that were created cutting pieces of petrified wood, or sometimes I get a piece of petrified wood that's so fissured I can't do anything with it, and I just break it up, and I've got all these nice chips that are going to work as tumbling media, I think. So let me get some water and some grit in here, and we will start it spinning. Okay, so in goes some water. Just not quite to the top of the rocks. I may actually have this tumbler a little overfilled. I'll pull out a couple of chunks of this stuff. Alright, that looks a little better. And it's a 3-pound tumbler, so I'm going to put in 3 keeping teaspoons of rough grit and one just for fun. I have found more grit is better. All right, so let's get this sealed up and get it spinning. And we'll check on it in a week or so and see how those rocks are looking. I may want to dump off the slurry, sort through them, see if any ready to go to the next stage, or maybe just replace the slurry with some fresh water and grit. We'll see. So let's get this tumbling. Yeah, so here we are over at my rock tumbling station. I guess you could say I've gotten into rock tumbling pretty big time here. I've got my homemade high capacity rock tumbler back here with a 12-pound barrel on it and two 6-pound barrels. I've got my Lortone 4.5-pound tumbler here. And of course, I've got my cheap Harbor Freight 3-pound tumbler here. And now they're all tumbling away. So, like I said, well, in theory, they're all tumbling away. There we go. All right. So, like I said, we'll check on these in about a week and see how they're looking. And if necessary, well, I'm sure it'll be necessary, we'll probably change out the slurry and sort through the rocks and see what's ready to go on to the next stage and what needs to stay in rough grit for a while. Okay, these rocks we picked up in Wyoming on our walk have been spinning in rough grit for about a week now. I think we can stop it and take a look and see what we've got in there. I will dump them out, clean them up, and we'll look at them under the lights over at the workbench. It's actually been more like 10 days that these have been in rough. I'm actually getting a little smarter in my old age finally, and writing on the lid of the tumbler when they went in and what grit they're in, because I've got 5 tumblers going, so it's hard to remember, what's in what. So, yeah, finally getting a little smarter. So I'm looking at these, and I'm like, wow. Hey, 10 days in rough. I would say, look at the eyeball pattern on that one. That's cool. I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I got to have that one. Picked it up. The pink in that. I'm sure the colors aren't being rendered all that well by my camera here. They never are. Polka dots. This one here, very odd. So this one, and where's the other one? This one are like the only two that don't really seem like they're ready to move on. Okay? This one was quite angular and broken when it went in. A lot of the rest of these were already very rounded. This one also was kind of angular and broken. I'm torn about what I want to do with them, because I've only got 2 rocks here. So what am I going to do with them? They need to be in rough for longer. Maybe what I shall do is just let them go through with the rest of the rocks, and we'll see how they turn out. Yeah, I still got some of the petrified wood chips I put in here for tumbling media just to fill up the drum. But I'll tell you what, some of these rocks, wow. The pattern on that, colors, wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We chose well. We were picking up rocks out there, let me tell you. So yeah, I think I'm going to put these all back in the tumbler. Even the 2 that I don't think are quite ready to go on to medium grit. But the rest definitely are. I think they are in really good condition and ready to go on to medium grit. So let me get the tumbler drum, and we'll fill it up and get it going again. Let me tell you what, I just absolutely love rockhounding in Wyoming. It is just an amazing place. There's so many neat rocks out there. And it's like the least populous state. There's nobody around to pick them up. So you can go just about anywhere and find a whole bunch of great rocks. Even your own backyard sometime, which is where these came from. All right. So let me get some water and some medium grit, and we'll get this running again. All right, so in goes some water. Not quite covering the rocks with it. some 220 grit. Yeah, I put in at least 3 heaping spoonfuls of 220 grit. All right, get this sealed up, and we'll get it spinning again. And check them in another week or so. I got to get my pen, my ink, or my paint pen, rub off what's here, and relabel it as medium and today's date before I forget, because I can't trust my brain to keep track of what's going on in 5 different tumblers. Well, I think I need to go to the office store and buy some dry erase markers, because I have found that these paint markers actually or chalk markers are not very permanent on most surfaces, but I can't seem to rub it off the lid of this thing. So now we are in medium, and today's date, I think it's the 17th. Let me double check. Oh, it's the 18th. So 11, 18. So yeah, we'll come back and check on this in a week or so and see how it's doing. All right, well, this stuff's been in medium grit now for close to 2 weeks. It actually went a little longer than I was planning. Thanksgiving holiday came and went. I got distracted with some other stuff. So let's take a look and see what the rocks look like and see if they are ready to go on to pre-polish. I'm almost certain they must be, except for maybe the 2 that really look like they needed to be in rough a little longer, but I'll bet the rest of them are ready to go forward. So let me dump them out, clean them up, and we'll take a look at them under the lights over at the workbench. All right, so here they are all cleaned up. I hope they're in good focus. These things are just stunning, I have to say. Well, you know, when they're wet, I mean, they're gonna be dull when they're dry, but look at the colors and patterns on some of these. And I know my camera's not doing the colors justice. It never does, but my goodness. These are going to be stunning. The red lines in that one. Wow. And then this is one of the ones I didn't think was really ready to go on, but it is smoothed out really nice. And that white stuff in the middle of it there, that's kind of like, I don't know, botryoidal something. Kind of looks, I don't know, agony, or I don't know. Where's the other one? This is the other one that I didn't think was ready to move on. And yeah, it's a little rough here and there, but I don't know, it may polish up. Look at the patterns on that. This one here, it's got like black dendrites in it, almost like moss agate. So yeah, these are coming along nice. I think they're so smooth too. I really think they are ready to go on to pre-polish. Even this one, and maybe even this one. I think it's all ready for pre-polish. Oh, there's my eyeball. Look, it's even developed an iris. Wow, cool. All right. So let me get these back in the drum, and we'll get some water and pre-polish on them and get them spinning again. All right, everybody back into the drum. We are getting there. Great. All these little chips of petrified wood back in there. Tumbling media. I think when I get to the polish stage, I'm going to have to put a little bit more media in here. These rocks have definitely shrunk a bit in size. Plus, I find that more media works better with the polishing. Okay, I got some 500 grit pre-polish here. 1, 2, 3. Actually, that last one was a little bit lean, so we'll give it 3 good spoonfuls. Get it off the seal here. This is my oldest tumbling drum, but the one I started out with way back when. But it still works good. So get her up and spinning again and see what we've got. I might let these go another 2 weeks. Longer in pre-polish always seems to be beneficial. It seems to make the final polish that much better. So this may go for another 2 weeks. All right, so there we go, off and spinning again. And while I'm in rock mode, I need to check the contents of some of these other tumblers. This stuff's in pre-polish too. These are all in rough back here, but some of them may be ready to move on to medium grit. I'm hoping I can get enough to move on to medium grit that I can put all of the rest in one of these tumblers in the big one and start medium grit in one of the 6-pound tumblers there. So we'll see if I manage it, but this video's all about what's going on in there. So we'll be back in about 2 weeks to check on it. Alright, our back 40 rocks have been in pre-polish for a couple weeks now. I think they're probably ready to go on to polish, so I'm going to dump them out and clean them up, and we'll take a look at them under the bench lights and see how they look and hopefully get them into polish. I bet they'll be ready. So here they are, looking pretty good, as per usual when they're wet. But, you know, on the whole, even the ones that I didn't really think were ready to move on out of rough, they've gotten very, very, very smooth. So there's the eyeball one. So it's got kind of a second eyeball down here. 2 for 1. So yeah, these are looking really good. I think they are ready to go on to polish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them out of here and leave behind all of the tumbling media that was used for the medium grit or the pre-polished grit. I will put fresh tumbling media in with them along with the polish. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Well, these are just stunning. All right. So yeah, let me do that. Let me sort them out of the tumbling media. I'll give them a quick wash just in case they're carrying any of the pre-polish over. And we'll get them back in the tumbler with some fresh media and cerium oxide polish and get them spinning again. All right, got our rocks in here after giving them another wash. Make sure I got all the pre-polish off. I've got some tumbling media here that's been used in the past, but only for polishing. So I'm going to top this off about 2/3 full with some of this tumbling media. It's a mixture of plastic beads, small pieces of scrap agate, and pieces of scrap petrified wood. Works pretty well as tumbling media. All right, not too much water. Not quite filling it to the top of the solids there. We'll get some cerium oxide polish in there. I think 2 spoonfuls is probably enough. And we will get this sealed up and spinning again. I can't wait to see these when they are done. And I've got to update I put today's date and the fact that they are in polish on it. So I will do that and we'll get it spinning again. And I'll put this tumbling media aside in another container and use it the next time I've got stuff that needs to be in pre-polish. But the little plastic beads tend to pick up whatever grit they're in and hold on to it. So, you know, I've got tumbling media for rough, tumbling media for medium, tumbling media for pre-polish, and tumbling media for polish. just to keep from cross-contaminating stuff. Okay, there we go, back off and running. We'll check on it in about 10 days to 2 weeks. And hopefully, those rocks will be done and gorgeous. All right, our Wyoming back 40 rocks have been tumbling for 12 days in polish. Now, I had a sneak peek at them after 4 days and was quite impressed with the shine they were already taking on. The weather's been bad and I've been busy, so I figure after 12 days they're probably looking pretty good. So let me dump these out and we'll clean them up and get a look at them and see just how shiny they really are. So before we have a look at the rocks, I'm running them through my ultrasonic cleaner here. And I don't know if it's showing up, but you can see some white stuff coming off of them. This is going to get every last vestige of polish and crud off the rocks, and they'll be as shiny as they can be when they come out of here. I have found that if you don't get all the polish off the rocks and you let it dry on, it will leave a dull film that's very, very hard to remove. So I'm going to leave them in here for a half hour, 45 minutes, and they should come out looking pretty good. I have another video on using the ultrasonic cleaner between stages of polishing your rocks just to get all of the residual grit out of any nooks and crannies in them so that you get as good a polish as you can in the end. So check that video out if you're interested. I'll put a link in the upper right. So gonna let these go for a while, then pull them out, dry them off, and have a good look at them and see how they look. Okay, these rocks have been in here for quite a while. I forgot to mention that I put a few drops of Dawn dishwashing liquid in the water. You can see a little soapy foam there. That'll help clean them up too, and I don't know if it's showing up with the slight haziness to the water. It was crystal clear. So that's the residual polish that's been cleaned off the rocks and out of the nooks and crannies on them. Not that there's many nooks and crannies. These are pretty smooth rocks. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down the ultrasonic. I'll take the basket out, give these rocks a really good rinse, dry them off, and we'll take a close-up look at them under some lights and see how they look. All right, so here's the finished product finally. After all these weeks, months in the tumblers, here's our back 40 rocks all polished up, super shiny, super shiny. Some of them are really pretty. This one here with the strange crosshatch pattern. My wife and I both like this one. We think it's our favorite. Not sure what causes that, but it is super cool. Got the eyeball one here. Actually, it's developed a second eyeball over here, but that's really neat too. This one here, which I was afraid was not ready to go on from rough, actually turned out really, really nice. And it's got this band of white stuff through it, which kind of looks like, I don't know, not agate, but I don't know, chalcedony of some sort. Now this one that I did not think was ready to go on from rough probably was not. It is a little bit rough in places. I might put this one in with the next batch I do and run it for a little while longer in rough grit and then back through all the other finer grits and see how it turns out then. Some of these have some really neat colors and patterns in them. These are really pretty rocks. This one here is very pink with these sort of gray splotches on it. This one's got some cool colors and some black dendrites in it. And I saw another one. This one over here has got black dendrites in it too. The colors are a lot more muted, but they're there. Lots of black dendrites. So, yeah, these turned out really, really nice. You know, for just taking a walk along the back 40 of the property and picking up pretty rocks we saw along the way, these came out really, really good. Next time we're out at our Wyoming place, we're going to do some more rockhounding, because there's some pretty rocks to be had out there. And I think they all tumbled up really great. They all have a really good shine on them, you know, maybe except for this one. But it's shiny on like 4 or 5 sides. Just a couple sides, not so much. So, yeah, this turned out good. So I hope you found this long odyssey of polishing our driveway rocks interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see my future videos. There'll be more rock polishing, rock hounding, rock cutting, lapidary videos, all kinds of stuff. So check those out in the future. And thanks a lot for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.